Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is brought to you by, you guessed it, the 45th anniversary limited edition DVD of Jaws, which we will be giving away to several lucky listeners. Legendary filmmaker Steven Spielberg's cinematic masterpiece comes to 4K Ultra HD for the first time ever, with a DVD box set that includes a Blu-ray and digital code of the film to go along with a 44-page booklet, introduction, rare photos, storyboards, as well as deleted scenes, outtakes from the set, and inside the making of the film, and much more. Right now, we'll be giving away several copies to our listeners. In order to be eligible for the sweepstakes, you'll need to do one or more of the following. Either you can leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes and send us a screenshot to tdbackrow@gmail.com, or give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and send us a DM or a message to let us know. Bite your teeth into the 45th anniversary DVD of Jaws today. Jaws! Now on to the show. Hello and welcome to Hold My Popcorn. I'm Muggle Max Healy in Nashville, and over in Boston we got Tim Begin, still trapped in his cupboard apartment. How you doing, Timmy?
Doing fantastic, Max. There's protests going on outside my apartment right now. That's good. Mm-hmm. And just trying to not get murdered.
Cool.
Other than that, we're doing well.
Great. So, Tim, 8 weeks ago, you when we started this series, you were on the keto diet and you lost 15 pounds. And I know since then you're no longer on the keto diet. So how many pounds have you put back on?
I have no idea, and I'm not going to find out. As far as I'm concerned...
You lost 15 pounds, and that's where the number ends.
Yeah. I lost 15 pounds, so I weigh whatever it was before that, minus 15, and that's the number I'm going to save for the rest of my life.
Well, when the cops are looking for you, they're going to be asking, what was his last known weight and address? Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Honestly, I could tell you that I had a fried oyster plate today for lunch, and I had ice cream for dinner. So, doing well on the keto.
All right, and flying high on his firebolt, making it rain body fluids all over Sacktown, California, is John Anoshak. How are you, John?
Well, they're going to be calling me in the National Guard doing more throwing liquids off of shit because we did the good old California fire drill last night and packed a couple bags because a town that's 15 minutes down the street got done evacuated due to some fire.
Ooh.
What?
So
Nice.
we got drama. It's great. I'm good, man. We're
when
fine
is
now.
the state never on fire?
I don't really
It's
understand.
working towards never.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll stop you on fire once a big quake happens and it just breaks into the sea.
Yeah.
That's when the fires will go down.
And to steal a joke from Ron Williams, and then Utah becomes wine country.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting.
And over in Cape Cod, we have Magic Mike Preble, who I think is safe to say watched this movie. How are you, sir?
Hey, Max. I really don't need to say anything else. I did exactly what you said, and in communication, I suppose.
Good.
I don't know what else. What a film. What a film.
What type of fun?
Nailed it.
And in Portland, Maine, we have old squealing, hog-tied, squealing Squibby, the Squibbinator, Squibby Bill Dooley himself. Old
Wait.
Squibby Bill. How you doing,
Wait.
you squib fuck?
I'm doing so well, Max. I've been spending all weekend sweeping up rubble from the rioters, just pushing my broom against giant piles of rock, just like Filch from this movie.
Were there really rioters on your street, Bill?
No, Tim. This is Maine. Of course not.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, Black Bears Live Matter. So.
I'm not touching that.
Nope.
Yeah, don't touch that one.
All right, well, we finally reached the yellow brick road in our Harry Potter movie marathon that started 8 weeks ago as we watched 2011's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
1 book, 2 movies.
And it felt like it.
Yeah.
Shortest movie in the
every
series, too.
Really?
Yeah.
What did this one clock in at?
It said 2 hours and 11 minutes on HBO, but I think it's more like an hour 55 with like 20 minutes of credits at the end.
Whenever Max tells me that it's like the shortest or longest movie, I am always baffled because apparently I have no sense of time, like none. I'm just like, they're all the same length to me. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, this is one Harry Potter. That's like the unit I use.
Rebel's boss asks him how long it'll take him to do something. He's like, 4 Harry Potters.
Yeah, at least
Books or
4
movies?
Yeah.
Oh, movies, not books. That's
Exactly. Oh, books, please. Jesus Christ.
Come on.
I'm not an idiot.
This isn't a quarterly report. Come on. All right. You guys ready to wrap this sucker up?
Please.
Yes.
Okay, well, the movie opens up where we left off with the tombstone of Dobby and Voldemort having his own personal fireworks show over Dumbledore's grave. Then Harry's able to convince Griphook the Goblin to help his squad into Bellatrix Lestrange's vault because Harry has a feeling that another Horcrux is in there.
Harry's kind of a weird motherfucker.
Yeah.
He really is. I mean, this like feeling he has, I wouldn't trust it. If I was Hermione and Ron, I would just be totally out on this. I would have been, well, let's be honest, I would have been a Death Eater, so.
Not because of your strong conviction, but really because of your lack of conviction. You would have just been, kind of like, oh, okay, I guess so.
I'm all about whoever's winning. And right at that point, they were winning, so.
Tim's a shameless, he'll flip-flop, man. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
needs the W.
Yeah, who's up on the polls right now? That's who I'm supporting.
I've always wanted an excuse to get a tattoo, so now I can finally get one.
Praise be. Praise be.
And a cool one.
It wiggles.
Look at that, it moves.
And it's
Yeah.
I just I love how much guilt Harry Potter lays on the shoulders of Ollivander. This man that has been like kidnapped and tortured for months, presumably. It is just like, oh yeah, like you might have just ended the world. Well, thanks for your help. See you later. Like, oh god, like you just ruined that old man's life. You couldn't have just like lied to him a little bit.
Well, he wasn't really helping. He turns into Bill Paxton from Aliens. It's like, he already has the wand. It's game over, man. Game over.
I do love it, but I love Harry because I don't know why they tried to set the tone. Like Harry's like an adult now, like he's serious.
Oh yeah.
And he just is like there. He's like, why are you lying to me, man? And he's like, why are you lying to me? And then this old man's like, what? He's just like, it's like just cracking him across the face a couple times. Was like, I asked you a question. Answer it. It's like, oh my god,
You little frail fuck.
I like how Harry's version of adulthood is blaming other people mindlessly for problems that they couldn't control and then berating old people.
I was just surprised that he did not pull out a wand and start poking him, since that's all he can do professionally as a wizard.
Which is even more
At this
disrespectful to Ollivander as the wand maker. It's like, you're not even doing it right. It's telling you no. I can hear it.
You have to say this is the most wand use that Harry showed throughout all these movies, though.
Oh yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
finally.
So I actually do like the beginning of this movie. I thought Daniel Radcliffe, like his acting decisions were pretty good in the scene. Like, it's the first time that Harry's actually in control the entire movie series.
Yeah, I think there's no question that it's probably the best acted movie for Daniel Radcliffe, just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. He was what, like 25, 26 by the time this thing came out. And all the kid actors just looked like it. We were like, yeah, that's the Olympics. Someone better pass out some condoms. They're fucking.
All right, well then Hermione takes some Bellatrix Polyjuice potion that I can only assume tastes like a soggy solo cup full of cigarettes, and does a poor impression of her at Gringotts that almost gets them caught. But Harry, shockingly thinking on his feet, uses magic by hitting one of the goblins with the Imperious Curse that turns him into Brick Tamlin from Anchorman.
Small, this might be sensitive.
Oh boy.
This might be sensitive. Okay, so you guys know how back during Nazi Germany they had
Good start.
Yeah, I'm happy that I wasn't the one that brought it up first. Okay, let's go.
a certain way to portray Jewish people,
Yes.
Yes.
and it looked
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
The entire
A
series,
lot.
I thought that.
Yes.
a lot like
Yeah.
a troll or a goblin,
Yeah.
And they control
And then
all
the-
the gold.
Yeah.
and they control all the gold. And then there's an inexplicably not a terribly offensive stereotype that Jewish people are bankers and misers and all this stuff. And then this is how they portray the bankers. It just seemed slightly like, oh, I was biting the bottom of my lip every time I saw the Gringotts. I was like, oh, this doesn't really look going well.
Oh boy.
So, first off, I blame Star Trek for allowing it with the Ferengi. There's like 3 people on the planet that don't know what I'm talking about. They did it first and made it seem like in Hollywood everybody else could do that. But I'm going to pull this one back. That got dark. For a biological standpoint, at least, these fucking teeth of these little things. Like, did they just turn cute animals into protein shakes? Like back in the day, into the food processor mouth that they have going on?
What?
You gotta talk about their teeth. They have crazy teeth.
They do have crazy teeth.
They look like
they do have
sharp
sharp teeth. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, what I was thinking is that they must have a strain of weed called Imperio. That I wasn't thinking about anything else, but you know, that's cool too.
But speaking of Imperio, right? It's like Harry uses one of the unforgivable curses, which I think is just really interesting, right? That like, you know, they're unforgivable. He's just like, you know, bombing the head goblin to like let him do this stuff, and like no one says anything about that, right?
Yeah.
And doesn't that kind of undercut the whole thing about like love trumps hate or whatever that this whole books are about? Like, no, you don't need to hurt people like or do these bad things to accomplish your goals. You can do it through like better means. And Harry's like, nah, dog, I don't think so. He's like, I'm going to do it as many times as I want.
He uses all 3 because he does the torture curse on Bellatrix and the 5th one.
The 5th one, yeah.
I think in this one he tries to kill one of the Horcrux with the killing curse too. Like he does all 3 of them.
Yeah.
It's no rules.
It's very American. It's very American foreign policy. It's very like, hey, you guys can't do that, but you guys just did it over there. Well, that's different because it's us.
I need some clarification on something. So they were gonna get caught. It seemed like the jig was up, right? Mm-hmm. All because they asked to see Bellatrix's wand. Hermione has Bellatrix's wand. Why did she not provide it as evidence that she is truly Bellatrix?
That was shitty. It's a shitty attempt at being an actor. It's Hermione's one thing that she can't do is act, which is really funny.
But she didn't have to. She said like, show me the wand, show me your wand. You know, it's like evidence, like it's like your ID. She had Bellatrix wand. She got it from the Malfoy's manor. Like
I think they say something in the book, which again not being explained here, is that like Bellatrix is reported at being like stolen.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that the
was
thing?
The only thing that would make sense.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, again, this is the problem with the movie not explaining things well, where they're like, she's there. It's like, that would be really like, oh, you mean this one? You'd be like, oh, you are Bellatrix. But I think there was something in the books where they were saying like, basically like she's let everybody know like, hey, someone has stolen all this shit from me. Like be on the lookout. And then like these people come rolling up, and that's why they're like more suspicious.
And also she already thinks that they broke into her vault. Like she already thinks that from the last one.
So yeah, because the sword. They have the sword, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So all right. So if you assume then that we don't have to go too far down, but then Hermione could have just said like, I just told you that somebody stole it like an hour ago. Obviously, I don't have my wand. I can't show it to you. Like, but pick a side and play the part.
That goes back to what John said though. It's like Hermione is brilliant in everything but lying. She can't do it. Like she sucks at acting. Which is funny because apparently Emma Watson acted out all the scenes for Helena Bonham Carter so she can mimic the mannerisms.
That's interesting.
So that's why she kind of like, and she fits in with the boys even though she is Bella Lestrange, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, honestly though, these fucking pointy little fuck puppets can probably talk to wands anyway. So that, come on.
The alarms go off midway through this Universal Studios 3D ride. That is a Gringotts vault carts, and they eventually get past this old blind dragon to the vault, but it's a trap. As the vault doors shut, and all the treasures inside the vault start multiplying after the dumbass kids just continually bump into things.
Here's another thing that gets me about magic. If you have a bunch of treasure, right? Why aren't you fucking casting that multiplier curse whenever you get the treasure? Because then you can have all the fucking treasure. Like, I don't get it. Why are you doing that? What's the fucking point of money in this place? You can just make more money.
So
I think
it's really getting you mad.
Yes.
I feel like we talked about this before, Tim. I mean, you can probably tell the difference between magicked money and like legitimate money. The same way that like you maybe have a printer at home, but that doesn't mean you can print legitimate like $20 bills or something. It's more complicated than ink on paper. There's things going on there that you can't replicate.
I take the multiplier curse, meaning you are literally creating an exact copy of the thing that is touched. So an exact copy.
I may be making this up because it has been a while since I read the books, but I think the multiplier curse, the things that get multiplied, like eventually disappear. Like they're not permanent.
They're iron. Yeah. They're iron hot. That's what they forget. They neglect is that it's like an iron like hitting your skin, and they're getting all these big welts, and their faces are burning, and it's like extremely painful.
Right. That's right.
They just don't mention that in this.
So they don't even get into that. Because that would make a lot more fucking sense to me.
Yes, it would. Because then you end up dying from getting smothered and burnt to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty metal.
Yep.
Goblins.
Very metal.
Instead, though, they just kind of like conveniently and inconveniently like multiply depending on what's happening.
Yeah. Just for no apparent reason, they stop multiplying at certain points. I really don't understand that.
I don't either.
Well, Harry was swimming around like fucking Scrooge McDuck in this shit.
You know what I mean?
Like he was
the
like
only one who has this much gold. He's actually swam in gold coins before. That was the cutout from the first movie.
It's my favorite thing to do because Ron will never be able to do this. That's why I like it so much. It's all the money I'm not giving the Weasleys. Anyway, so Harry, he's able to find the Hufflepuff cup Horcrux, but it's a trap! As Griphook steals a sword of Gryffindor and leaves the kids to die.
Fucking Griphook. What a jerk.
Yep.
What a jerk.
Not as nice as Willow. Or that other little teddy bear in Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Something I don't understand in this
Tim,
is why is this guy gonna fuck? Why is this goblin trying to fuck over
They hate wizards.
the kids? They hate wizards? Why? What?
And the sword of Gryffindor was forged by goblins. That's the thing. It's like, this is our sword. He stole it from us.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's why he was able to recognize it as the true sword, and the one that was in Bellatrix's vault as a copy. All that nonsense.
Yeah. So I have to read the book to get that backstory.
You have to read the book to get a lot of backstory.
I just have to take it on spec that this fucking goblin for some reason hates these kids.
Yeah.
Goblins just hate people in general, I think, is the idea.
I remember reading one of like the side books years ago, like in elementary school. It's like the history of magical history or whatever, and they talk about how there was like the goblin wizard wars of like thousands of years ago, and the goblins lost. So that's another reason why too.
Oh, they're just borrowing shit from goddamn Lord of the Rings now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. Imagine one of those things.
That's why Tim's been talking about magicians this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
When's Gandalf going to show up?
How about the goblin that got Imperio, just like the branch manager who's just doing his job, just gets absolutely roasted by the dragon? That's pretty fucked up.
I thought of that too. I thought it was so funny. He's not even like a head dude. He's just some guy.
He's like, hey.
I guess if you are going to be fucking burnt like a marshmallow, I mean, it is good to be that you're cheesing your face off.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's like, I'm torched in 2 different ways now, bruh.
Fucking God. Can we talk about the the double use of the dragon? Because we know it's also like the goblins are industrious enough to also have this thing while being a guard. It's fucking dragon torture porn, dude. They've been filming that shit. We were talking about all of the fucking black market wizard porn earlier. This is even more illegal than the squirrel bird porn. Look at that thing. It's chained up, dude.
It's been conditioned to expect fear or pain when it hears that click clack thing. So maybe that pain is the torture porn you're talking about.
And then he smiles after he says that. It's been conditioned to expect pain when it hears it, and he gives this big fucking sour tooth grin.
I didn't call the goblins earlier fuck puppets for no reason.
Then Ice-T comes in and goes, "You tell me you've been filming the torture of this thing for this funny?"
How did that? What was the end of that sentence, Tim?
I don't know.
So he's on some
It was better
Imperio
that way,
Kush.
though.
That's what happened.
Yeah, man.
Man, this
But for
shit's
some reason, it
unforgivable.
fits for Ice-T.
I liked it.
Man. Rocking from side to side, my dude.
That dragon scene when we first see it, it arguably might be the saddest scene in the entire series for me. That makes me so
Yeah,
sad.
It's like a beaten
Oh
puppy.
God.
Fucked up. I also like that Ron, he's using like those torture bells way longer than everybody else. Like he's still hitting it as they like get into the vault.
Yeah, Ron's like secretly being like, these goblins got the right idea.
He's so steeped in this culture. He's like, "You're right. They do deserve to serve us." I was like, "Oh God, Jesus, Ron."
How the hell did you ever get in Gryffindor? Yeah, so the kids, they break out and they're safe. But he can't say the same for all the Gringotts goblins as Harry gets a vision of Voldemort killing them all. And oh my God, he knows. Voldemort knows what the kids are up to.
Well, gotta say,
He always knows. God,
yeah, he does.
so useless.
Spoils
It's always like, "Oh my God, now he knows." It's like, Harry, hasn't he figured out your thing, your steps like every other second? Hasn't this been a recurring theme for the past like 3 books? It's like, for fuck's sake, man. Like, grab a hold of yourself.
He never exactly learned the occlumency, so I mean, like, he probably is aware of every thought that you're having whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
But he can feel
Except
Voldemort's
until-
thoughts,
yeah.
so he knows that Voldemort just figured it out, too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, there's also something interesting in the book where like Harry kind of works a way of like being able to use occlumency like well, or he can like shut him out, I think. I don't know. I've only read the book
you're
once,
right.
but
He gets it like to a
he
degree.
kind of gets it, right?
I think
but
he
this
gets
time,
it
yeah,
enough
he's
that
still
like Voldemort can't push thoughts into his head or something like that.
Vice versa.
He can't like trick him like he did in the 5th book, be like, "This is a reality that I'm fabricating
Right.
for you." But this thing, I was like, all right.
Well, then Harry gets better at breaking into Voldemort's mind because Voldemort, after he knows that Harry can like do the same, he shuts him out, and then Harry gets better at it.
Yeah.
'Cause especially when he loses his temper or he's like really happy. That's like the only times when he has like mood swings that he can pick it up.
Yeah.
What Harry should have been doing is jerking off 24/7. Then Voldemort wouldn't have really even wanted to break into his mind.
Or
You know what I
Tim,
mean?
or maybe he really would have.
It's a
Okay,
double-edged sword. Tim.
that's
Be there all day.
All right, that's a touche, Bill. I'll give you that one.
What's my mortal enemy doing now? Oh, okay, all right, he's still doing it. I'll go back. I'll come back later.
Let's just move on, shall we? It's like, oh my goodness.
Well, what about Neville? Neville might be the one. What about him? Oh, nope. Okay.
Like, these are all teenagers. Harry watches cuck porn a lot, though. He might need some help.
Also, this is the first time I noticed, too, that Voldemort's feet splash with blood on the floor when he walks over all those dead bodies. It's also pretty fucking metal.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking gruesome, I gotta tell you.
Great.
It's pretty
There's just
fantastic.
dead bodies everywhere.
See, that's the only scene though that he should have been barefoot. The rest of that, creepy, fucking gross.
Mhm.
Who likes feet? Nobody likes feet except for Tarantino.
And Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
Rex Ryan. too.
That's true. Yep. All right, well, Harry also learns that the last Horcrux has to do with Ravenclaw, which means that the big three are going to take a trip to Hogwarts.
The only time Ravenclaw is relevant in these entire series.
Anyway,
Yeah, so
It's like, we're very smart, but don't bother us. Like, we'll just hang out here. It's like, okay, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a Swiss in this whole thing.
it's gonna go for full North Korea, but we don't know what they have in that fucking tower. We don't know.
Good point.
So the kids are saved by Dumbledore's brother, who is the one on the other end of that mirror. It goes on to say everything that we've been saying about Dumbledore this entire series, how he's just giving the kids a job without any specific direction.
Aberforth really has a solid head on his shoulders. He really seems to have a good grasp of reality. The first adult in this entire series, to be completely honest.
Dude, he's the brother who had to become a plumber and then let his fucking girlfriend die from being eaten by a South African fucking snapping turtle. Like, and he's an alcoholic now.
What?
That's who Dumbledore.
John did read the books.
Did you guys read that? Did you guys read that chapter about the snapping turtle? Oh man,
We're talking about Dumbledore's brother, right?
John, you said
Yes.
you became a plumber. I was like, all right, John's gonna make a coherent sentence here. This is gonna make nope. Oh boy, he's gone down. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
God.
not even fucking close. Not even close. But he's the alcoholic brother.
In Japanese culture, typically what happens is the older brother stays home and has to take care of the parents, right? And sort of like tends to the homestead. And then the younger siblings get to go out into the world and do other things. So the older brother always resents the younger sibling because he always comes walking and he's like, I just got a best-selling Japanese book. Blah, 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 blah. I get to do what I want. And that guy's like stuck being a trash man because he has to take care of his elderly parents. That's what Dumbledore's brothers.
It's actually, you're pretty close to him because like Dumbledore's the older one and he's supposed to be taking care of their sick sister and he doesn't. And he like goes off to do his own thing and then she ends up dying in a fight with Grindelwald.
What a prick.
Yep.
Yeah, they really don't talk about that. But I'm a big fan of Aberforth because he's just like spitting truth. He's like, oh, you mean Dumbledore, the guy who didn't tell you X, Y, Z? And Harry's like, what? Like, yeah, right? Did you think about this? It's like my psychopath brother, the idiot who's like leading you guys down this like terrible, this primrose path. And they just like don't know what to do. And he's just like, you pieces of shit.
Gave you a mission, huh?
he's
Pretty
just-
straightforward,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Nice and easy.
Also, how many times has someone else told Harry that Dumbledore is not who he thinks he is? He's like, nah. Trust the man I knew. Dude, he's a fucking serial killer. He's been plotting to kill you like a Wagyu cow the past couple years, for fuck's sake. He cockblocked you back at the diner way back then. It's bullshit.
Yep.
Case in point, Dumbledore has done no less than like 5 eyebrow raises to Harry and his friends, which is just like the sure sign of a serial killer. So
You've been counting his eyebrow raises?
yeah,
So speaking of eyebrows too, though, like, did anybody else notice the prosthetic eyebrows that actor had to look more like the actor who played Dumbledore?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
They're hilarious. They're so bushy and like overdone. It's like, all right,
Yeah, like caveman
let's-
sticking
let's-
out.
Hey,
Look like
you
that.
know what, guys? Let's lay off big bushy eyebrows. All right, those are the sign of vitality and masculinity. Really. So
were they
I
like,
hear.
were they like Joe Pesci's eyebrows and like what is it, JFK?
JFK, they're just painted, they're just fucking glued on.
Yeah, those are great.
It's very close to the Kill Bill thing with the Kung Fu Master. He has to like brush them to the side.
Oh, God. All right, well, after this, a black-eyed and beat-up Neville guides the kids into the room of requirements where they're greeted by Harry's former DA crew that has grown in size.
Max, I would just amend your description of Neville with one additional description in saying that, damn, Neville's looking fucking hot. Come on, can we all say it, guys? Neville looks good. I mean, he
Neville
really
is
came
good, but
around.
so is
gross.
the British teeth.
Yeah.
But they've balanced out with his head. Now that his head and his teeth have finally grown into like their permanent location, it's okay.
They're also
He's
really
not a danger
lucky.
to himself and others.
They're also really lucky that the actor actually happened to the actor because it happens to Neville in the book. He goes from being like a squash faced like frumpy kid to like a tall, slender, lean, like good looking guy. Like they're very fortunate that happened.
It's true.
You just described that like your ideal man.
Talking about me, John.
But
Looking in the mirror.
but isn't he though?
Just looking in the
Neville's
mirror.
interested in herbology, people's feelings.
Mhm.
You know, he also knows how to fight.
Yep.
He seems like the ideal mate, doesn't he? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you put Neville as opposed to Harry Potter, one, he probably would have used his fucking wand more than once, right? And actually got some shit did. And he should have married Hermione or something. You know what I mean? Just like, get none of this, all this other shit.
Well, you know, Neville and Luna went back to the fucking tower after the battle, and they made some serious love with like Akon playing in the background.
all the nargles flying around their head watching it.
Yeah.
Freaky shit. I just, in this scene though, fucking Seamus just being a cunty old Irishman, making all the Irish look bad. Because like first he's like jumping up and down, like patting people on the back. He's like, "It's blimey, it's Harry! I told you Harry would come back." And then Harry's like, "We don't know what we're looking for." It's like, "Well, that's nothing to go on. Why the fuck are we even doing this anyway, Harry?"
You're so two-faced, he's Irish.
Moby Mick bastard. Fuck off, Seamus.
he's just like, oh, it's like, well, that's nothing, Harry. Thanks for coming back, you stupid piece of shit. Come on, when you got something to tell me.
He's the only one who's gotten on to Harry, though, that he has no idea what the fuck he's doing, other than the audience.
Typical Seamus move, though.
Consistently.
This
That's
is
just
what I
not.
wanna know.
That's not. Go ahead, Max.
Oh, no, this could be a different thing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's not like specific to Seamus. That's basically just like Irish people always being cynical about everything. So he just happens to be right by chance.
Yeah. All right, so here's a question. What's more surprising, Seamus being in the Resistance or Neville turning into a badass?
Neville turning into a badass.
Neville turning into a badass.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Seamus.
No, I think it's the Irish.
Yep.
Irish are feckless. Seamus is just in the corner, like shit talking to everybody else all the time, like undercutting them all.
Later on in this movie, when they show Hogwarts and it's like all rock and rubble, Nikki goes, "Oh, hey, it's Western Ireland."
Oh my
God, I didn't hear that.
Woo! My God, did you fire back with a Turk joke or something?
No, I started laughing my ass off. She wasn't wrong. I've been over there. It's nothing but rocks and goats.
Get goats.
Goats.
That's a
What is that
goats.
beautiful rock and a beautiful goat, Max?
Okay, who's gonna show me where the treasure is already? I'm done with this shit.
It's in the big field of taters, John. As far as the eye can see, all you can see is taters.
Goddamn Brits stole it from us, though.
From the Emerald Coast to the Rainbow.
All right, after this, a heavily mascaraed Snape tells a Hogwarts military parade that anyone harboring Harry is going to be in big trouble, so they better step forward. But then, it's a trap! As Harry jumps out, Jerry Springer style, and calls out Snape for betraying Dumbledore. Oh shit! I'm sure Harry won't regret saying a single word of this later on.
Snape's cadence of speech in that is just the most amazing thing in the world. I won't even try. There's no way I can ever replicate that, but that is simply amazing.
Only Alan Rickman can deliver lines like that.
Probably the slowest sentence in the history of movie.
You're hanging off as every word because you're literally just waiting for the next word. You're like, what are you saying? It's like, nobody knows.
Could you imagine Alan Rickman's first audition? They must have thought he forgot his lines.
Jesus Christ.
Those harboring Alan. I know, I was going to say it. Wait. I know.
Dude, I cannot imagine his O face coupled with some sound out of that one where it just kind of starts rumbling, where you get the force shock before the aftershock. Just
Are you
somewhere
ready
between
for it?
huh? Oh, God.
Are you ready? Okay, here it comes.
Have you ever heard a cow climaxing crossed with a squeaky door hinge?
Must be coming. Ho, ho, ho. All right. Then the entire Order of the Phoenix, all 14 of them, strut in the Great Hall as McGonagall pushes Harry aside and plops her big, thick, uncut wand on the table, challenging Snape to a duel that ends with Snape retreating for safety.
Oh my God! Shouldn't there be a little trimming there though? Isn't it sanitary?
No, that's why Snape ran.
Wizards are traveling people. You don't want sand stuck in there.
Filthy buggers.
I will say, this is just like the worst fight I've ever seen.
I like it.
It's like, did you really?
Yeah, because Snape's like, oh,
say.
fuck. She's going to kick my ass. Dumbledore didn't tell me about this part. I got to go.
Well, I think it's right. So that's what I was thinking. It's like, okay, like, because obviously, like, McGonagall's like a very good wizard, right? Or witch.
Yeah.
But like,
Magician.
but she just like a couple flames at him, right?
Magician.
Whatever.
Well, I don't.
Whatever.
So, I mean, first of all, I like it too because she fires first. Like she's
Sure.
the one who's like on the offensive, and Snape's just kind of like, ah, shit. And then Snape either pushes those two Caro brother and sister away, or whatever she was hitting at Snape like ricocheted off him and like killed those other two people.
So she casts a spell at him and he deflects it and it like kind of splits around him and hits both of them. And like
fucks them up.
the fan theory is that he does it intentionally to knock the two of them out.
Well, they go to pull their wands. So that's what I thought. Is like they go to draw their wands, and he's like protecting everybody else in the school by just like pushing them away.
You're very, dude, Bill, you're right on it, because you'll notice after he, like, Jack the Ripper, like, pounces his way out the window and all that shit, like, he actually jumps to both bodies and picks up their wands before going out the window.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Hey, okay.
Cool.
Here you go.
I mean, like, this isn't the, like, super cool, like, blow up all the glass in the Ministry of Magic kind of, like, awesome fight, but I like it because both actors show like the right level of hesitation. I feel like like Snape like momentarily lowers his wand, like he really like wasn't expecting this, he doesn't want to do it, like he seems super reluctant, and McGonagall is also like she's determined that this was what she needs to do, but you can tell that she's not like fully on board with it either. Like these are two people that respect each other and they're like are conflicted. I like that part of it. It's well acted.
Well, she taught him too, like she's known him since he was 11.
Oh shit!
Right,
really?
that's what I think is. Yeah, right, because he's only like 30 whatever or 40 whatever, right?
Yeah,
but that's what I thought. It was
young.
like
that's right, and she's in the she's in the scene with the Sorting Hat with Lily, so that would make sense that she taught him. Yeah.
Right. That's what I think. It's just like, and also I think it's like Snape is like, he's obviously like on her side, but no one else knows it. So I'm sure he like is not interested in the fight as well, right? He's like, I don't actually want to kill McGonagall, but I don't know. I just thought it would have been cool to have like a good battle between both of them because they're both dope.
They were lovers. Let's just the sexual tension could be cut with a butter knife. I mean,
oh man, those December to February relationships are always always the best.
You got a break just baked in, ready to go.
I also just love how giddy she is when she summons those knight statues to protect the school.
Yes,
it's great.
That is so good.
Always wanted to cast that spell.
She's like doing a little like happy dance.
It is badass though, dude. It's fucking awesome. Got some fucking stone statues, fucking swords, and just metal shit just hanging out that we've never drawn attention to at all whatsoever.
No. But also, I noticed this time watching it too. They're in rows of 4, and each one of them has the emblem of each house on their shield for the 4 schools.
Oh,
for the 4 houses, which is
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But around this time too, storm falls over the Great Hall. Voldemort does his best jigsaw impression, saying the school has an hour to hand Harry over before he turns Hogwarts into Waco. And, so they fortify the school, and then Harry speaks to the Grey Lady Ghost and learns that the final Horcrux is the diadem of Ravenclaw, while Ron and Hermione destroy the Hufflepuff Horcrux with one of the Basilisk's fangs in the Chamber of Secrets. Then they kiss.
Oh boy, isn't that nice? So did anybody catch when Hermione was like confused as to how Ron was able to open the Chamber of Secrets, and Ron goes like, Harry talks in his sleep, have you ever noticed? And like Hermione kind of like her eyes kind of like dart away, and she kind of suspiciously goes like, no, of course not. those two banged in a tent. You know it. They absolutely do. That 100% confirms that
my dream.
It's done.
Oh my god, it happened.
Hermione like had to admit that to Ron the day before their wedding day. So she could go into it with a clean conscience.
I feel like the reason that they didn't end up is that Harry makes some very snake-like noises in the sack, and she couldn't deal with it.
He always
Period. And I mean, like, not sleeping. I'm talking like during, in action, like, we're in phase 3. We're going.
He always wanted a picture of Dumbledore on the bedside table looking at him. This is the way he wanted it.
It'd be funny if they had 2 pictures. It's Dumbledore and Ron. They just top Ron over and they just put Dumbledore up. That's what I'm just thinking.
Then Harry puts a Ron picture back up and nods his head.
Yeah.
We've established that Harry likes cuck porn, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
God damn it, Hermione! I told you, either shut up or talk in a deeper voice.
Talking to your voice be worse at magic. Go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Hermione did a really bad job of faking it. That's why it didn't work out for them. Such a bad actress. You faked it, Hermione. I know you faked it. You're lying.
No one screams like that. They don't use their nose.
All right, well, with another Horcrux down, Voldemort unleashes a fury storm of Furyk as he single-handedly destroys a Hogwarts shield. While on the other side of the castle, Neville outruns the thousands of Pirates of the Caribbean wildlings by blowing up the Hogwarts Bridge.
That was an interesting blend there.
Why did they blow up the other bridge?
Because they were all chasing after Neville, and he had to kill them some way.
I think
you
he's
saw
talking the one that like
the stone,
the stone armies on.
The stone one.
Yeah, don't blow up that bridge.
They
They
did
didn't
not.
blow it up. They just put the stone dudes on it.
Yeah. They put the soldiers on. I think that
they can fly
honestly was
regardless.
just a matter of pride, and whatnot.
Yeah.
McGonagall was being selfish. She wanted to cast the fucking spell. They could have blown it.
Not wrong.
I think you're kind of sugarcoating that a little bit, Max, by saying that Neville outran all those people. He killed them. He murdered like 200 people. There were a lot of people that died on that bridge.
I also like how everyone else is waiting on the other side of the bridge, and it's Neville's responsibility apparently to do everything from taunt them poorly to then run to then set the explosives or whatever, and everyone's just waiting for him to get back. It's like, why don't you dumb pieces of shit do something?
So that actually,
what are you guys doing here?
That's a really good point. So, okay, clearly since last time we saw Neville, he's gotten hot. Okay, cool. So he's fucking. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. And then clearly everybody trusts him to handle the most basic of tasks now, and into the realm of advanced tasks, i.e., setting off bombs. That's, I would say, goes into the advanced realm.
This is
so what the fuck has he been up to?
This is what Neville's life would have been if Harry had actually been murdered as a baby.
Yep.
He would have been the
chosen
star athlete. He would have been like the super cool kid, like that. Yeah.
Yep. So
The
I had
butterfly effect is real. Jesus Christ. Sorry, man.
I had to add a bunch of notes there, because the only thing I wrote down while watching the movie was Neville isn't fast enough.
But he's cunning.
No, it's like never bet on Neville. Neville doesn't even bet on Neville.
Yeah, no.
Did anybody
no
else
one would.
whisper to themselves, must go faster, must go faster?
Must go
And that's-
faster.
Neville, pretend there's a gigantic T-Rex behind you.
Summons a charm that has a little rear view mirror on his wand that just says objects are closer than they may appear.
I went all Halo when he set off the charge on that bridge and all those people died. It's like running riot.
All right, well, meanwhile, the big three head to the room of requirements to destroy the Horcrux, but the three stooges of Malfoy, Larry, and Curly try to stop them, which leads to Larry, a.k.a. Goyle, starting a deadly fire that kills him, and the kids destroy the Horcrux and fly the Malfoy and Shemp to safety.
So, who else would have saved Malfoy? Let's be honest here. Raise your hands.
I wouldn't have saved him in a fucking million years.
Let him die.
I don't care if he was a good person.
It could be any of you. I would never save you people.
Yeah,
Did you see that fire? I would have got my ass out of there. That's your fault.
yeah, exactly. Every man for himself. That's what, am I right?
You got magic. Figure it out.
No friends in a fire. That's my motto.
It's a George Costanza of real life. Just pushing everybody over.
It is a laugh out loud scene though when he got Ron just like screaming that hilarious like shit my pants look on his face.
And when he comes running ass
That is
back.
really funny.
Run! Fire!
Yeah, no. He's like, my girlfriend, you dummy, blah, 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 blah. And then he comes running back, just screaming.
That's
I was like, this is actually
That's
very
like
enjoyable.
the only time we ever see like Ron like grab his groats and just run into some shit. That's the only time. Like the firefights and all the crazy shit later don't count. But like where he's like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna get him, break off a piece of that. And he comes running back. But it's the only time we see him grab his nuts and run in to some
Ron's
shit.
the most tolerable in this movie, I feel like. Like
Agreed.
he's like at least semi useful.
He's not detracting from the gang, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is also, it might be the only time we see Goyle do magic, and fucking Goyle casts the killing charm at Hermione and then blows up the room of requirements. This guy's got some chops. I mean, sure, he burned to death in the fire that he created, so I mean that sucks.
Sure, he didn't know enough magic to turn it off. Just be like, off, fire, off.
Off
Burns
auto.
himself alive. But again, this is also, I just want to point out, this is one of the few scenes in the entire film series where Harry uses his wand to good effect. He casts that water spell or whatever to make sure they don't get all burned up.
That was good.
I almost lost my shit. I was like, oh my God. Harry knows another spell that's not Expelliarmus. I can't believe this.
But then he ruins it because then he throws all his chairs over the fire and he stops running. It's like, Harry,
Yeah.
you did that to slow the fire
True.
down. That doesn't mean you can now slow down and don't run anymore. Don't just fucking stand there.
Also, in what way do flammable objects slow down a fire? Like, I don't really understand the thought process there.
They don't, Bill. They actually
wood will do it.
speed it up.
What if I threw some gas on it? Maybe it'll go away.
So this really does expose the danger of uncut wands, though, and why you do it. Because they can just misfire. They just keep throwing shit out, and just burn down the entire room of requirement.
Yep.
Did you guys notice like there were subtly things from the other movies tucked away in the room of requirements? Like
Yeah.
There was like
fairy
the
things.
pixies, but there was also
Yes,
one
pixies.
of the chess pieces from the first movie. Sorry, go ahead, Max.
I was going to have that in trivia. So they used like 72 crates of props from all 8 movies for that scene.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
So thanks for ruining that now. Bill. Jesus Christ. Couldn't wait till the
That's
end.
what I come on here for.
Then Harry learns that the last Horcrux is a snake as the kids head to the boathouse to witness Voldemort slitting Snape's throat and then having the snake finish him off in order to become the true possessor of the Elder Wand. As a dying Snape gives Harry a pensive memory with his last words being, "You have your mother's eyes," and then he dies.
So Voldemort is really a shitty boss. Like,
Yes.
and I'm just going to boil it down. Well, yeah, of course he's a shitty boss, but I'm going to boil it down to the fact that he couldn't have just like killed Snape like in a halfway decent way where it's just boom done.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to slit your throat and then let my fucking danger noodle just tear your face off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
He
You know?
kills everybody else and they just immediately die.
Yeah.
He didn't have
he
the
even
decency.
said-
Yeah. My most loyal, you must die the longest.
Let me let you bleed out here in this abandoned boathouse, away from everything else. Like, oh my God, fucking psychopath. Jesus.
Also, I hate how this snake kills people because it's obviously a Burmese python, and it's like it kills people by fucking striking at it like a venomous snake. You know, Burmese python's gonna get a hold of you, and it's gonna constrict you the life out of you. You know, just not biologically correct. I don't like it.
I absolutely agree with Tim. I mean, there's no way that that's a venomous snake, and it makes no sense for it to repeatedly strike like that. Absolutely outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's a pit viper. Am I right? Bill?
Right,
Oh, boy.
exactly. Oh, God.
But did you guys take into consideration that it's a magic snake? Magic.
I don't see how magic enters into this movie.
Yeah, that's just stupid and erroneous.
I just don't get it.
So, can we talk about the fact it's been a few movies we've seen these memory things come back where they memory in the liquid form. Anybody else notice or feel like the memories look like jizz?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, every day.
What's the deal with that? I mean,
What's the deal?
JK was missing all of her teeth at one point in her life, and
oh boy, we're back to the teeth.
Oh, JK.
I wish
Bill's
I
acting like he had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
He's the one who's talking about jizz.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know, and I'm the
Bill
asshole.
mentions jizz and
I'm
John
the
mentions
asshole.
teeth. He's like, teeth. Gross.
Jeez.
Bill just leaves a bunch of gasoline in a pile. It's like, a bunch of matches. He's like, hope no one lights us on fire. Just walks away. It's like, oh boy.
That was exactly my thought with that.
Yeah, right?
Thank you, Preble.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it really
no, thank
does.
you.
And do you think so? Does this go into your conspiracy theory on like hairless asses? Is this where you're trying to take this?
Ooh,
Bill?
boy, are they connected? That's a great. You know what? I'll have to ruminate on that one. Let that kind of stew a bit, John. But I think you might be onto something there.
Oh, okay, so we'll marinate that on that one until the sorting hat can figure it out for us.
Stay tuned for next week. We'll dig
How about
into
the
that.
fact that Harry has to stick his face all the way into that big pile of jizz?
I was thinking about your mother.
It also says a lot about Dumbledore's missions with Slughorn, getting those memories from Slughorn.
Oh yeah.
Really milking those memories, huh?
It's like Randy from South Park. He was a spooky ghost. It's just both of them just covered head to toe. It's like, how'd this happen? Spooky ghost.
Dumbledore's like, I gotta go to extract a memory from Slughorn. Proceeds to put a ball in his mouth. One of those sex balls.
Zips up his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. After this, the kids head back to the castle to grieve the deaths of Lupin, Tonks, and Fred Weasley, while a guilt-ridden Harry goes to Dumbledore's office to view Snape's memory.
So this is like the reverse Game of Thrones, where like early episodes, early movies, nobody dies in Harry Potter. Everyone lives, everything's happy, and like this one, fucking everyone's just dying. And, like it's great. I love it. You know, like the Remus and Lupin die, and one of the Weasleys, I don't remember which one of them died. Like you actually get like some meaningful deaths though. That's terrific. Makes for a good story.
Also, I also noticed this time watching too, is when Voldemort's talking to everyone, you just see like a helpless Fred who doesn't have a wand, just like being tortured to death in slow motion.
Yeah.
In like a quick cutscene. I was just like, I mean, it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, what I think is great about this whole like kind of series, and even like the past couple of movies, is like like there was always like some existential threat that was always out there that like never really affected them, and now here we are. It's like not only is it affecting you, like people are just getting murdered, like straight murder, like people people you like and all that stuff. And I was like, that's why I like this movie. Like this, like it really starts revving up like now, where it's like people are dying. There's all this shit's going on now. Harry's gonna see these memories and all that stuff. And they're really like not pulling any punches. They're like, yeah, people are dying. Like this is a war. This is terrible. And people you like Tonks and Lupin, the people are just dead. Just everyone's dead. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think that's part of why the Harry Potter series is just so enduring too. It's just because it does like a 180. Like it matures as the characters get older. It gets more and more mature. Like the first movie is like a PG borderline G movie, and then this one's like a PG-13 borderline R. Like they could easily make this movie an R-rated movie if they wanted to. Like it's
in there.
Yeah. That great ghost just whips out her titties and starts motorboating Harry.
Yeah.
You want my diadem? You want it?
You could
You better
trace
help
the
me out
maturity of the entire film just by following the length of fucking Harry's happy trail all the way down to his crotch. Really. Up until the point where the ghost whips out them titties and just starts motorboating motherfucker. Yeah.
McGonagall's like, Potter, get over here. I have to trace your happy trail.
No.
You have a pensive appointment, Harry.
Somebody go to Gringotts and find me a fuck puppet.
They're dead.
Come here, ghost.
They're all
Show me
dead.
your tits, my dear.
All right. Then you get going from that to the most dramatic, heartfelt scene in all the movies. So you get the Snape redemption highlight reel, where you learn that he never stopped loving Harry's mom. He was made to kill Dumbledore because he was already dying, and Harry's the last Horcrux, and he must die.
So am I to believe that because Snape's Patronus and Harry's mom's Patronus is the same, that Harry is Snape's son?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So I thought I did a great job at deducing that.
Tim just starts taking down all of his strings and just attach things to his wall.
Yeah, I gotta rip down my fucking bulletin board here.
Yep.
Turn in your badge and gun, Tim.
So what does that mean then?
He loved Lily Potter. His Patronus was not a doe until she died.
Yeah. So that's the thing they don't touch on either. Like Tonks, her Patronus changes from whatever it was to a wolf, like midway through the books because she's in love with Lupin.
Oh, so this is like a fucking wedding ring or something.
Wait. So that means that Bill can actually change his Patronus from a fucking, like, swallow or
Wait
a dove
a minute. No. What this means is that it's Sam's fault that my Patronus is a weak bird. I'm sure it was something awesome before I met Sam. Boom.
Like a
Redemption.
like a porcupine.
Yeah.
It's up to
Before it
Francis
was
now.
undone.
Bill's Patronus was a perfect score in horseshoes.
Oh boy, in my dreams. That's what I see in the mirror of Erised, Tim. Feeding my father in horseshoes.
I think when they show young Snape, I mean, he is like a perfect Tim Burton cartoon human sitting under like that big fish tree. I don't know if anybody else thought that.
Yeah.
That scene.
What a nerd.
Yeah. All right,
They cover a lot of missed ground. I mean, they did a good job. I did like, but like there was a lot of the shit in there that was in like books 5 or 6 that they just like They didn't include that before, so here you go. Now you get it.
Again, this is probably JK just being like, all right, these are all important things that we wanted to see in like 5 through this, where they were like, no one knows what's going on here. Like, you're missing out on all these these crucial details. She's like, put this whole thing in, like this 10-minute slew of like ancient memories to like put this puzzle together for everybody. And I was like, yeah, this is probably the best part of this movie. He was like watching this unfold.
That is some jam-packed jizz tears. Just a lot of memories in that jizz.
Yeah, it's overflowing.
Yeah, John, what do you have to say about the jizz stuff that Bill just talked about? That feed you laid out for everybody.
The fact that he basically has to put his face into it and then open his eyes. That's what scares me. And, the stinging, like, I can deal with most pains, but stinging of the eyes, there are some very strong people out there.
Yes. I agree.
Makes perfect sense.
It's like A to B to C right there. You know what?
I'm serious. So
we say?
We start with the hurricane, we end up with the pandemic, and then Obama.
Yep.
We're there.
Tim's putting back up his bulletin board.
Just making a ton of shit.
Where are my strings? How did I put them down?
He's working on his flies again now for tomorrow. He's just thinking about it.
Puffing glue. All right.
We did, so talking about the jizz, really, I'm going to come back and we'll bring the jizz back in. Sorry, Max. So we were joking earlier, or another episode, about how the entire rack of, fucking memories and the whole thing, and that all kind of looks like it too. So, and that might just be Dumbledore's porn collection.
Yep.
There's your connection. That's how we got to see.
Okay.
I like it.
I'm on board.
Sure. We were talking ABC. I thought I'd make it to C. Anyways. Yep. All right, Max, you can bring it back to reality now.
Okay. C, standing for cuck. Okay. So, A's ass, B's boobs. Okay. Accepting his fate, Harry walks into the Forbidden Forest and discovers the Resurrection Stone has been hiding inside of the snitch that Dumbledore gave him. That could also be really pornographic when you think about it that way. But he's able to talk to his parents, Sirius, and Lupin.
Hey, on the way down, like when he has the talk with Ron and Hermione, I just find it hilarious that like Hermione is kind of already known for a little while that Harry's a Horcrux and he's probably going to have to die. Ron is just standing on the staircase, just like, what's going on? What are you guys all upset about? I don't know, like, just like classic Ron. Just completely clueless.
Stop crying and tell me.
Hey guys, I found an apple. I'm gonna eat it. What are you talking about?
Hey, my mum's over there. What's she doing here?
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Nice to see you. It's true though, right? Like Hermione and Dumbledore are the only two people that could potentially play 3D chess. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yep, I already kind of figured this out. And like Harry figured it out, I'll give him credit this time, like a regular pace. And they just poor dumb as shit Ron. Just like looking at his shoes, being like, my laces are untied. What I do now? Get new shoes. Oh dear.
Do you think that Ron's parents had the talk with him, like, son?
You can't
special.
Reproduce.
One or the other.
You need to live the celibate life, Ron.
We cut you deep, boy. We cut you deep.
All right, well. So, you got Voldemort in the woods kicking rocks, all sad that Harry didn't show up. But then Harry does show up, and he takes a full load of green lasers to the face as the movie fades to white.
You know what fucking really pissed me off about Voldemort is that he brought his friends to watch him beat up a child. It's like, what kind of fucking... I mean, I get it. He's the most evil person in the magical world. He's the most evil magician. But whatever. He had to bring his friends to watch him beat up a fucking child.
The manic magician, he who must not be named.
You wouldn't do that, Tim?
I'm saying that I would live stream it to the entire world. But that's me, okay?
Put that on Twitch or whatever.
Yeah. That'd be a great Twitch stream.
Yeah, Voldemort's just going, hey, look, no hands. Wait, no. I do need one hand for the wand. Hold on.
Hold on. One
Wait a
second.
minute.
Also, Voldemort fucking holds his wand like a southern dandy.
He does.
He's holding that
really
thing
does.
like a fucking...
Like
All right.
a calligrapher. I mean, he's just,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just very pretty, very delicate,
Yeah,
very
like
slithery.
like it's Mantown Monday and he's holding a martini.
Right.
Jesus Christ. He was one of those kids that had to use like 3 fingers to whack it, you know?
Hey, that's all you need to get on there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so you cut to Harry talking to Dumbledore in a whiteout King's Cross station, who says that Voldemort killed the last bit of his soul, and he has the choice to either go back, or no, just go beyond, I think, right? Or fight. Let me do that over again. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck I wrote here. So after this, you cut to Harry talking to Dumbledore in a whiteout King's Cross station, and he says that Voldemort killed the last bit of his soul, and he has a choice to either go back and fight or move on.
I would have moved on.
I would have gone and
take the blue
kicked the
pill.
fucking Voldemort abortion in the head.
I know.
Like-
I had that at one point,
Yeah.
and I deleted that. So they're just looking at the aborted fetus of Voldemort.
Yeah,
I also
certainly-
have fetus Voldemort. Fascinating.
Yeah,
Should
Right.
have kept it in.
I think that's kind of
So-
what he looks like, though, right?
Yeah.
So I use the term flipper baby a lot, and I'm actually going to explain myself for a change. Someone told me it might be helpful, but in this scene, that is a flipper baby. When two things come together and make something fucking horrible. In this case, it's actually real. It is a fucking flipper baby. Lol. It changes colors like 3 times. It's fucked up.
It looks like the Velociraptor baby that came out of the egg in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
I see that.
Poosh.
Yeah.
It's
What
so
is this?
veiny.
What is the... You breeding Voldemorts in here? Yes.
You know what would have been hilarious? You know what would have been hilarious is like fucking Harry and Dumbledore having this great conversation, and all of a sudden BD Wong just walks on and starts talking about his fucking dinosaur baby.
With the clipboard.
Yeah.
Just writing stuff down.
They're all female.
Like,
what?
Just look up their
Get out of
skirts.
here, BD Wong.
Dumbledore spins around. You can't play God. Nature finds a way.
Also, I wrote down the quote from Dumbledore saying, "Wards are, in my not so humble opinion, the most inexhaustible source of magic, capable of both inflicting injury and remedying it. Can't say the word. Remedying it. Remedying it. But that is
you
the
go.
perfect description for Twitter. It is a
Wow.
dead-on description of Twitter.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
That needs to be in textbooks, Max.
Well, I would also
Tell Nikki and tell her to put it in her textbooks.
I would also say that like Dumbledore does that as like the not so humble brag, but like
Yep.
you see him manipulating the fuck out of people in the memories, particularly Snape, because they're Snape's memories, where he's just like, you know, if you really loved her, you would do this. Like 15 minutes after Snape just found Lily's dead body, like, Dumbledore, you fucking sick fuck, like, stop fucking twisting with people with you know, like, yeah, he's pretty good with using his words to fuck with people's minds. Good job, Dumbledore, you fucking psychopath.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
probably good that you weren't the Minister of Magic because politics is not the best place for you. You're too good.
Yeah.
He's a
Right.
fucking asshole, though. Like, even in death, like everything Harry asks him, like, "Ooh, is this real? Like, can I ask you any fucking question?" And like every answer to Dumbledore gives him is basically, it's like,
It's rhetorical.
No, yeah, it's like, no, Harry, I can either speak in jive or riddles, and I prefer to speak in riddles to you. Like, it just doesn't. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You're
If
dead.
This is real. Does it matter? Fuck you. Fuck you.
That would have been
Dumbledore.
hilarious if that's
Fuck
how it ends, with him fading out and Harry just going, "Fuck you."
That would have been great.
2 middle fingers up as it fades back into the woods. All right, so then you cut back to the woods with Malfoy's mom covering for Harry out of the love and protection of her own son, pronouncing Harry dead, as Voldemort forces Hagrid to bring Harry's dead body back to the school so he can rub it in everybody's face.
Okay, so here's a problem. He's been trying to kill this kid since book 1. right? And he keeps saying over and over and over again. I think even like the 5th movie, he's like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Like, I'm not going to do like the stereotypical bad guy thing and like explain my plan and then try and kill you. Like, I'm just going to try and kill you. And here we are, book 7, movie 8. Instead of him going up and like punching Harry in the face or cutting him in half or whatever else you want, he's like, hey, you lady, go check and see if he's alive.
I know.
And then she's like, he's dead. And he's like, all right, well, clap my hands together. I guess we're all done here, right? It's like, no, like, you hate this person. Why wouldn't you like flay his body or do something horrendous to it and then show it to all these people, right?
Well, for Christ's sake, he's already barefoot stepped on some dude's face before after killing him. Yeah. And then
feet covered in blood and all that shit.
Just as you said, like, let some chick just go and check on it, like, from the most untrustworthy family in Britain, as far as we're concerned.
Yeah. He should. Clearly, Voldemort didn't watch Scream 2 with Laurie Metcalf, where they go, is she dead? And then they shoot her in the head just for safe measure. And whatever her name, Courtney Cox goes, yeah, she's dead now.
Shit. Could have teabagged him, something, for a little flair into it,
Yeah.
Something.
Hey, Ivanka, go check to make sure that he's dead.
Bring Jared with you. He looks bored. He looks like some kind of mannequin that came to life for 5 minutes.
Remember, be like mom, be best.
Be best, yes. All right. I mean, I do say that. I do have to say that, like, the music in that scene does make the whole scene a lot better. Like that triumphant music that they're playing. And then also, I did laugh out loud when they're walking and Voldemort just like passively rolls one of the trolls or one of the dead giants like off the bridge.
Yeah,
like he's like sweeping the sidewalk. He's just like, ugh. Just like pushes it off.
Oh god!
Someone clean this up.
This is messy. All right, then you get Neville's shining moment when he defies Voldemort, saying that Harry might be dead, but the fight isn't over. As he pulls out the sword of Gryffindor from the Sorting Hat, while Harry gracefully rolls out of Hagrid's arms, causing a shit show of Death Eaters to flee, and we're on to round 2 of the Battle of Hogwarts.
Well, I have to... hold on. We have to talk about it.
Every time I do any kind of triumphant reading, someone always has to go backwards.
Whoa.
No. This isn't really backwards. This is like Voldemort comes fucking flying in there, and he just starts going... Harry Potter is dead. He's like a game show host. He's like, I killed him. I thought he was going to do a little, like, pull up his fucking skirt and do a little jig. You know what I mean? I was like, this is not what evil villains do. They don't, like, walk in and brag about, like, he was like a 5-year-old whose dad just let him beat him in basketball, and he's like, I beat bad.
Dude, you got a great fucking point, because Voldemort hugs a dude. He fucking hugged him. He hugs a dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
That hug was the weird. That was the most Joe Biden-esque hug in the world. Draco wanted no part of that.
No, Bill. He didn't touch any ass in that hug. Not like a Joe Biden hug whatsoever.
Max, do you have any trivia on that thing where the hug?
Yeah,
you do.
So I'm sure you saw it too. Then it was totally improvised by Ralph Fiennes, and that's why the guy who plays Draco is just standing there, not knowing what to do. It's because that wasn't in the script.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
It's so funny. It is so good. When I learned that, I was like, that hug was funny in and of itself. But then when I learned, like, it was wholly improvised. So what is Felton or something like that, right? He was just like, he's like, I literally didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He was like, I just stood there and waited for him to be over, and I just walked past him. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
I need an adult.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, too. You forget the guy playing Voldemort is the guy from Grand Budapest Hotel. Like, I mean, he's a funny actor. Like, he's done some good shit. After this, you got Harry and Voldemort rolling around in the air, just extending minutes to this movie. Action filler. While Mrs. Weasley just straight up murders Bellatrix Lestrange, and then Neville decapitates the snake, leaving Voldemort mortal. So now it's on.
Dude, that is the exact moment that Neville's groats dropped. That dog can fucking hunt now. I mean, hunt. That dog, and then he went and he claims his woman.
Luna, like you know my woman now.
Just influenced.
Chopped off the serpent's head to deliver you my seed.
That's what I mean, right?
But
it is true. Like, that's like a good part for Neville. But I have to say, and I remember seeing this movie in the theaters and just being, I don't know, it's just like I was so disappointed with the last bit of this movie.
Yeah.
When they did that stupid weird like air battle.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you just do what they did in the book?
So much better.
Because that was good.
What would happen in the
Right?
book?
So
It's more of like it's more like a typical, like not typical. It's like a good fight. Like they're actually like battling with wands as opposed to like,
Dragon Ball Z. I mean, that's what,
yeah, as opposed to like them like clutching each other as they're flying through the air and all this shit. It's weird. And then they only fire one spell each other. The rest of it is like they're actually like duking it out.
I reread that chapter today just because I'm like, this is not. I remember it's not like the book. So like in the book, they have the duel in front of everybody, like the first time around, like everyone's watching. Harry's talking a bunch of shit to Voldemort. He's calling him Tom Riddle and all this other shit. And Voldemort's just like, what the fuck you talking about? Snape was on my side. He's like, no, he was a spy like the whole time. And I'm the true possessor of the Elder Wand. And then Voldemort kind of starts like panicking. And then they go to attack each other. And Harry does the disarming charm or whatever and kills Voldemort. But he does it in front of everybody. So everyone knows what happens. In this, they had to just take Harry's word for it.
Yeah, which is like just annoying. I remember like seeing this, and then I remember coming home. I think I actually might have seen this with. I don't know if I saw this with Bill or Max or someone, Tim. I don't remember. I remember seeing this.
Yeah, I saw this with John.
But someone in there, and I remember coming back. My dad was like, "How was the movie?" And I was like, "It was good. I just really hated the ending." And he's like, "I don't understand what you mean." I explained it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that does sound terrible." Yeah. And I was like, "Yes, it was awful. Like, why would you?"
I
do
mean,
this?
it especially makes no sense in my mind that all of a sudden, the last like 10 minutes of this huge franchise movie, and now Thanos comes in and snaps his finger, and Voldemort turns to dust. Like, how we're supposed to know that makes any sense? The game of the Marvel movies haven't even happened yet. Makes no sense.
Good point, Bill.
don't
Everyone's
you
just
dare
left
boil this down to fucking Marvel and the fucking Endgame. Don't you dare.
He turned to dust exactly the same way the people do in those movies.
Well, this movie came first, Bill.
Exactly. So who stole what?
So then what you're saying is that Harry actually killed half the universe, not Grimace.
That makes a lot more sense now. I think
it makes perfect sense.
This makes me want to do just things to your face. Things.
Can we talk about Neville's uppercut?
Yes, the uppercut. He doesn't strike down. He strikes up.
Sword swing.
It's so weird.
Where did that come from? What a weird way to go about it. A total fucking left field weird Neville. That kind of like turned me off from like Neville being a badass. I was like, this kid doesn't even know how to swing a sword.
It's so weird.
I mean,
yeah, it's very weird.
It's weird, but it's at least a good smooth swing. I mean, especially in comparison to Harry when he throws the broken Elder Wand later. Like, I mean, oh boy, that was a rough looking throw. That's what it looks like when I throw left-handed. Yeah. I mean, at least Neville's swing was smooth.
Also, so when he got saw in the theaters, did everybody cheer when Neville like woke back up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
As I remember it, it was supposed to be in. It was not supposed to, I remember when I went to go see it, I saw it. It was supposed had both like 2D and 3D, and for whatever reason they didn't put on like the 2D version when we were in there, and so it was really blurry.
Oh, no.
And I just remember everybody sprinted out of the theater to go grab whatever 3D glasses people could possibly get. And then someone had to make an announcement like, calm down, you fucking nerds. Like, we're going to restart it with the 2D version. So like, don't lose your shit. And I remember everyone just being like, oh, okay. But it was almost like people almost got stampeded, run over to death because they didn't have 3D glasses.
You've already read the book. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't mean to bring it back here, but could you imagine if that happened during one of the Endgame movies? There would have been violence.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Probably.
Max, I know you brought it up. I have to touch on it again. Like to everyone's point about the way that Voldemort tried to kill Harry. If Voldemort had just killed Harry the way that Molly killed Bellatrix Lestrange, there would be no question as to whether or not he was dead. Just disintegrate his body. That's a pretty sure sign that he is no longer corporeal.
The Hiroshimatis curse.
Oh, God. Tim's favorite. Yeah. Tim's favorite curse.
My favorite curse.
Superior to the Nakashatiopmus curse.
Way superior. We all know it's better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Harry Truman just comes walking in. Do it.
Were you some kind of loser? Buck stops here. Press the button.
I was just gonna say cut wand versus uncut wand. But,
All right, yeah. So finally, 10 years in the making, Harry, true owner of the Elder Wand, disarms Voldemort, causes a spell to backfire for the second time in 10 minutes as old Voldababy breaks into a million pieces of ash and disappears forever.
Forever.
So what's different about this time when he disappears as opposed to the last time?
Compared to the other 3 times,
Yeah, what's different? Why is he disappear? Why did he disappear forever now?
Because all of
It's
his
immortal.
little all of his hoes
the
dumped in
Horcruxes are
killed.
gone.
Horcruxes are
All of his
gone.
hoes. All of his
The
hoes. dead.
Horcruxes are gone? Okay.
There's no
they did.
more remnants of his soul holding him to life.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's what the Yeah, okay. I should probably read these books.
Jim's like, oh, Horcruxes, right?
oh, okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
I thought they just hated his jewelry choice.
Oh, this is such a gaudy goblet. Get it out of here. Destroy it quickly.
Yeah, I thought they really just thought he was being very very vain with all his jewelry, so they just wanted to get rid of him.
So I've actually started rereading these books. I'm on book 5 right now, Tim. So I'll tell you in like 3 months from now what any other extra differences here.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So in the aftermath of the battle, Harry breaks the Elder Wand in half and wimpily throws it away.
Total great throw.
I mean,
They don't even learn how. They don't learn how to throw balls over there. You know.
They don't. Everything's with your feet over there.
Yeah. Why wouldn't... So in the book, Harry's wand is broken,
Yes.
as it is in the movie. Why wouldn't you take 3 seconds for him to fix it like he does in the
I know.
book? As opposed to just cracking it and, just throwing it over with the flailing arm of a 10-year-old child.
Yep.
Because
You know what I mean? It's just like, why?
He's rich. He's like, I'm gonna get a better wand.
Besides, he's got Ollivander as a
probably.
prisoner, right? So he can get whatever wand he
Yeah,
wants.
that's good.
Make one fine
he's
to
already,
me.
He's already mind-fucked him, right? So he's just sitting in some cottage somewhere on the seashore. It's like, you will do what I tell you to do.
Or the xenomorph goes into your belly.
He just walks into Hinge's room like, I'm the captain now. I'm the Voldemort now.
I think this entire scene, though, of the 3 of them just like standing there posing for their Entertainment Weekly photo op, it would have been so much better if they had the victory music from the original 1976 or 1977 Star Wars playing in the background. That would have been so much better.
Or Rocky.
Would have been
That'd
good.
been awesome.
Or Rocky.
Yeah.
Or Rocky.
I'd take any of those, to be really.
I just wish that he would have replaced his wand with a nice American made. It's a nice
West.
American oak and with a core of gunpowder. It's great.
I just started laughing
That's a-
thinking about Sylvester Stallone coming onto the screen at the end of the movie, like shaking their hands. Like, "You did a great job. You did a great job.
The 3 of them are there, and he comes over to put his arm around all 3. We did it.
We did it, Adrian.
I love you. All right, and then the wrap up the movie and the series. Thankfully for Tim, you fast forward 19 years to the big 3 as parents watching their kids depart for Hogwarts.
Here is where I get. Wait, never mind. My math is wrong. You can move on.
All right, and then the movie ends.
How funny would it be if Harry and Malfoy, after all these years, just ended up throwing down on the fucking terminal station? Just, you little fucking shit. Just
I
going
remember
full,
now.
like, this full soccer
Every year,
hooligan.
I would love that. Every year, they have
Every
like some
year, yeah.
dad
Every single
dad
year.
v dad fight. September 1st, bring your beers. Boom, 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 boom.
You locked me in the room with Myrtle.
Yeah.
This end scene epilogue is as bad in the book as it in the movie. I hate both. They're both terrible.
Both bad.
Well, it's
What did
even
you
worse, though, Bill, because in this one, you got the sweet 2011 Bieber haircut on Harry's kid.
Oh Jesus!
Ugh, God.
What would you have wanted, Bill, for the end? What do you think would have been?
Orgy.
Yeah, exactly.
Machines.
Ron in a closet watching Hermione and Harry fuck.
It's funny. I think Bill and I had the same thought. And it's just like Ron is either dead or like just somewhere like far away. Meanwhile, Harry and Hermione just create the perfect children.
It's Harry.
To continue.
It's Harry and Hermione walking their kids to the Hogwarts Express, and Ron's on the corner of the street going like, "Ron, Hermione, remember me? Remember me? Galleon."
Even better, just absolutely no explanation. Ron just isn't there, and nobody says anything. It's not acknowledged because, honestly, who gives a shit?
No one
who
would
gives
care.
a shit.
And Malfoy's with Hermione. They're like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
My perfect ending would have been Dumbledore roller skating down South Beach in Miami with a lollipop in his mouth.
Aviators
Booty
on?
shorts on. Yeah, booty shorts
Super
on.
tanned.
Woo! Ricardo!
It's him and Jeff. Just hanging out. Woo! Just swing, just the same voice.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, time for trivia. I think I briefly touched on this last week, but they filmed movies, part 1 and 2 simultaneously. Even though the main producer, David Heyman, thought it was a bad idea for some stupid reason. So keep this in mind. So the budget of both movies combined was $250 million. Part 1 made $977 million, and Part 2 made $1.34 billion.
Oh my God, they made $2 billion.
Yes, made over $2 billion.
Christ.
This guy wanted to make it all into one.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Great business mind decision by David Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Eek. Mm-mm.
Jesus.
Okay, let's see. All right, I said all the other ones except for this is the last one.
What about the jizz? Talk about the jizz.
For our bonus content that we don't have. All right. If you want to watch all these movies in one sitting, it'll take you 18 hours and 20 minutes.
That's not bad.
That's doable.
Yeah, you can do
until
it in
you
one day.
spread it out across an entire fucking pandemic, which brings me to this question. Was it worth it, Max? Was it worth it?
I enjoyed myself.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was
These are good
actually it
movies.
wasn't bad. It was pretty good.
I needed a month of Lethal Weapon, like an interlude. You know?
Palate cleanser.
Yeah, next month we're going to do Lethal Weapon again.
Just do it again, yeah.
Well, we're doing it after this, right? Tell me we're doing Lethal Weapon after this.
We're doing the TV show, Tim.
Every
God.
episode.
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucked. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Jesus. Time for questions, and I got a special one to start it off. What fell off first, Voldemort's nose or his penis?
God, definitely his penis.
I imagine because he's snake-like that his penis is inverted, so I'm going to go with his nose.
Ooh.
I think his penis fell off first, and he cut off his nose to replace his penis.
A nose penis.
You mean, to spite his face.
Yeah, exactly.
A little Babbitt move there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the penis first, and then he tried to take that and then shove it up his nose, and that's what caused his nose to fall off. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, the
The
wizarding
smartest thing I've
world,
said all night.
It just doesn't get our sayings. You cut off your dick to spite your face. It doesn't work like that. And he took it to heart. Some things don't translate well.
Something like that.
Cool. Okay. All right, who's your least favorite and favorite in this? Since everybody typically goes for least favorite first.
My least
go ahead.
favorite.
Flip it
My
around.
least favorite was everyone in that end scene, epilogue scene, from Ron's gut and Ginny's hairdo, Harry's sideburns. Like the only thing that was going well in that was Hermione's coat. Hermione's coat was really on point. Otherwise, I hated everyone in that end scene.
Do you really think Hermione wasn't going to be fashionably dressed, Bill? I mean, come on.
Of course she's going to be. She's the best character in the franchise by far.
Yeah.
So the funny thing, Bill, is that now since this movie came out 10 years ago, they're only like 6 years away from being that age.
Oh God, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to look exactly
Just brought
the
our
same.
mortality to us, Max. Oh my God.
I just heard Bill's porn deck just switch right there. He's like, well, we're throwing that one.
My favorite character, we've just been throwing him under the bus the whole time. My favorite character for this movie is going to be Ron. Ron has a real redemption here. He's not absolutely a piece of shit. He thinks of the basilisk fang. He thinks of the room requirement, and he wasn't actually at any point a detriment to the team. So Ron is my favorite character this time.
Fair point.
You didn't fuck it up. Good job, Ron.
Yeah, basically, I love that Bill's thing is like, well, he didn't fuck things up as usual. Look, so since he's usually an F, since he was a D plus this time,
that's a good way to go through life. Set expectations low, 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 and then just skate above them.
Just succeed them.
Mm-hmm. My favorite person is without a question Professor McGonagall, because she slang dick this whole movie. Like, she was slinging dick. She slapped Snape in the face with it. You know what I mean? She was fantastic in this. My least favorite in this is going to be kind of a shocker. It's Luna.
Oh.
It was Luna. She was screaming at Harry while he was trying to go do something. And you know what? I don't like it. I didn't like her attitude when she stopped Harry. Harry's obviously knows what he's doing, so she should shut the fuck up. I understand what you guys are going to say. She happened to be right. I just still don't want to hear it.
Tim, why does it sound like you and Luna are in an imaginary relationship?
You want to know what, John? Luna can go fuck herself.
Oh, boy.
She can take the dog and go fuck herself.
So my least favorite is going to be Seamus, because, well, he's just always just a fucking piddle-paddle piece of shit fucking storm on the fucking party every time. Every fucking movie. My mom said this. Oh, you didn't give me a plan even though you're saving. Fuck you. So he sucks. Anyways, my favorite, however, let me think about this real hard right now that I'm on the spot. No, my favorite actually is going to be Harry Potter. He pulled it off. He's perfect. He did it. It's Harry. I don't know what else to say.
Ugh.
What do you want from me, Max?
None. That's cool.
I don't know what to say. You're wrong. That's the wrong choice. Your subjective values are wrong.
Spoken like a true American, Preble.
Yeah, exactly, right? Facts don't matter, you nerd. My least favorite character is Ron. All right. So the reason so Ron's just useless. I'm jealous because he gets to spend his time with Hermione Granger, who's perfect. So yeah, that's really why I don't like him. I just think I think he's terrible. The person I like the most in this is, I was having a real debate, but I've already said Hermione once, and everyone knows how much I adore her. But so I'm going to say Neville, because you know why? He's just out there just like punching folks. He's out there setting up the resistance, going out about it, cutting snakes' heads off, and he gets the girl at the end, even though in the book he marries somebody else, but that doesn't matter.
His balls dropped.
But it's good. Yeah, and his balls dropped, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he just went to bang Luna. He wasn't going to marry her. I mean, come on.
That's true.
You saw that that swag that Neville had at the end of the movie. He just stand there. He's like, yeah. What's up?
Exactly. As a 17-year-old, I don't think many of them are thinking about marriage,
as a 17-year-old boy, the only word in his mind at that moment that he could hear was mine.
The time is now.
Where's that blonde? You mean Luna? I don't give a shit.
Whatever. Exactly. Idiocracy. I'm going to fuck all y'all. All right. My least favorite, sticking with the Weasleys, it's going to be Ginny. Ginny. For screaming after she thought Harry died. Because in the book, that's McGonagall, which makes it so much better and more powerful, because that's such an uncharacteristic move of McGonagall to do. But in this, it's just a 16-year-old high school girlfriend doing it. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
Ended up being his wife, Max. Have some respect.
Yeah, because in the wizarding world, everyone marries their first girlfriend in high school.
Yeah, apparently.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. And my favorite, which is going to be a low-key one since it's really only a cameo, but it's going to be Slughorn. Because he is literally the only Slytherin who openly fought against Death Eaters in the entire thing. So he's fighting like all of his former students, and then he was the head of Slytherin House. So like he loves all these kids, and they're adults, and he's like trying to kill them. So good on you, Slughorn.
Yeah. He's the true Antifa member, just killing anti-fascists all over the place. But no, yeah. Well, that's the other thing I thought was funny about McGonagall, right? She's like, all Slytherin need to go to the dungeon. Yeah. It was like good discrimination. Just every single one of them. You're all out of here. I don't give. None of you are gonna have the opportunity to redeem yourself.
Bad
You're all
hombres.
terrible kids. Get out of here.
Well, also, like, it makes it sound so ominous. Send them to the dungeon. Oh, you mean their house? That's
yeah, they live in
that's where
That's
Slytherin
true.
house is. It's in the dungeons.
Basically,
so
to
you
the
sent
common
them
room,
to
I
their
guess.
rooms.
Don't chastise me, you filthy squib.
Jesus. Last
Squib,
time somebody
baby.
went to the dungeons and was like, "Oh, go to the dungeon," it was to get mind raped by Snape. So yeah, it's not. It can't be that pleasant.
Probably not ideal.
All right, just so IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes have their own rating systems, we decided to make our own. So what would you rate the Deathly Hallows Part 2?
I would give this movie 10 points for Gryffindor. Over because it's a fraction. We like fractions on this show. The serious underlying societal flaws of magical society. I mean, can we talk about the size of Voldemort's army? I mean, look, Voldemort's a bad guy. Clearly evil dude. Good that he's dead. There was like 1,000 people there fighting on the side of Voldemort. That's some serious problems. Not to mention the fact that they have like all these people who are on their side because they are oppressed by the current magical society. I mean, what the fuck's going on with the house elves? That's a pretty fucked up situation. I don't know. Nothing seems good about this. There's a lot of problems going on with magical society. So that's my rating.
I just blacked out. What just happened?
I don't know.
Fantastic rating, Bill. I think that really sums up the movie.
I'm sorry. Did I give my rating? I wasn't really paying attention.
I'm going to just go ahead and put this one in here to cleanse my brain, but I give this Myrtle's tits out of 3 quarts of memory skeet.
Good.
I'm going to give this a rating of, why was Hagrid in the woods?
I think he
Why was Hagrid in the woods?
I actually
Why?
wrote that down. I think he was bait, which is really fucked up.
Why was he in the woods? Maybe he was in the books. I don't fucking know. All I know is that Harry went to get killed, and Hagrid's there. And I just don't even fucking know. I don't know what's happening. That's my rating.
Yeah, he had a rope tied around his neck. Maybe he's into like some kinky stuff.
He was tied to a tree.
He did a pretty good job of playing it off, too. Oh, Harry, what are you doing here?
This is why I told you kids to not go in the Forbidden Forest.
Yeah.
He's there with Dumbledore's nipple clips from earlier. Oh, these are for you, Harry? Oh my goodness, here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Harry, no, you can't see this.
I'll go, and mine's gonna be very simple. Antifa 1, white supremacist 0. That's my, not even a rating. It's literally a score. So I'm just glad the terrible people lost and the still terrible people, but just not apparently openly racist people won. Because God, they still suck. These British people are awful. God.
At least we can have victory for the righteous side in fiction. Because it definitely doesn't happen in real life.
It's true, man. It's very true.
I'm gonna give this one. Neville should have died on that bridge. Out of one last time that I can call Bill a squealing little squib.
Squeal for us, Bill. Squeal.
No, thank you. I'd rather not.
I said squeal.
My
Ooh.
son's here.
Not in front of the
My
child.
boy cannot see me.
Not my son.
Please don't degrade me in front of my child.
Okay. There's going to be lots of jokes, though, eventually, straight out of Eastbound and Down. Like, let the boy watch. They're coming for you.
1, 2, 3, apocalypto. That means go. All right. Any TV or movie recommendations, real quick?
The Office is really good for when the world's ending. I just started watching that for the first time.
What? Really?
Which one?
Yeah, surprising.
Oh yeah, which one?
Yeah. Well, American Office. Apologies.
Okay.
I like everyone else in the world apparently have started watching the animated show Avatar, which is now the #1 show on Netflix. So I don't really know if it counts as a recommendation to watch the #1 show on Netflix, but that's my recommendation.
Is an animated Avatar?
Different.
It's not
yeah,
Avatar the
different,
movie. It's
M. Night,
completely different.
M. Night Shyamalan made a movie about it. Didn't go well.
The movie was terrible. The show is it's definitely it's made for little kids, so at times it's awfully it's very childish, but it's got a surprisingly complex plot development and like a lot of really complex characters too. It's interesting. It's really good.
Oh, okay. So this is the Airbender.
Yeah,
Avatar, not,
exactly.
Yes.
Not Dances with Smurfs.
No,
Okay.
Airbender.
I'll jump in after Bill because mine's also a cartoon recommendation, but it's for adults, and it's the Harley Quinn show that's on the DC app. I was talking about before we started. It's fantastic, very R-rated, very funny, very graphic, very enjoyable.
The DC app.
Yeah, so I mean, we're not getting sponsored for it, but you can do a 7-day trial with the DC app,
Oh, cool.
and has like all the DC movies and all like a shit ton of comics on there that you can get for free, and then the Harley Quinn animated shows on there too.
Cool.
With what's her name? The girl from Big Bang Theory plays Harley Quinn.
Oh, really? The one that plays?
Oh, Cuckoo Clock.
Kelly
The
Cuckoo
blonde?
or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. She's good in that.
Jane Fonda.
she's good in it. She has a good little voice of it, and it's just a lot of the characters are kind of twisted and hilarious. Like I was telling Probable too. So like the tattooed guy from Law and Order SVU, the white guy, like he plays Gordon, and Gordon is like a fucking shit show on it. It's fucking hilarious. It's good. Well,
That sounds good to me. Good time.
It's a good segue, Max, because my recommendation is Law and Order SVU.
Speaking of,
Yeah. No,
Chris
but I actually have a
Nolan.
real recommendation. It's called Unforgotten, and it's on Amazon Prime, and it's a British detective show.
Oh.
It's fantastic.
Is it BBC?
This sounds like it's off the fucking Hallmark
It's a
Channel.
BBC.
I'm
yeah.
on board. I love me some BBC detective stuff. That's always good.
Hallmark Channel, John. It maybe was on there for a season, but
Tim, you gotten into Peaky Blinders if you're into the British shit?
I've watched Peaky Blinders backwards and forwards.
Good man. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
So I'll step in now just to help everybody out. By
well, I don't think
By-
John and
so
Tim are
these
done
are-
groaning and grunting.
so now that they've done that,
Yeah, join on in, buddy.
Go
Just jump
on.
into the pile. You don't know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a kind of like an art house movie, and then it had a weird sequel that was kind of attached to it, but it's called Ace Ventura, which I watched last night, which was dope as shit. But a serious recommendation, not a series. It's just a movie. It's The King with Timothy Chalamet. It's the Henry ad, so like all the Henry V plays basically. That movie is it's like 2+ hours long, but it was super good, and I very much enjoyed it. So if people like that. That's something good to watch.
Nice. Okay. Anything else you guys want to cover before we get out of here?
No.
Yeah, this dick, Max.
All right.
Yeah, let's focus on that.
Cool. So that finally wraps up our Harry Potter movie marathon. If you like the show, please rate and review or tell your friends about us. That's even more important. You can also follow us on all the social medias, or you want to email us at tdbackrow@gmail.com if there's any movies you want us to cover. And that's it for now. We'll probably do a mini episode coming up next, and then we're going to be jumping into another movie franchise here in a week or two. So stay tuned for that.
Pucker up, Buttercups. It's coming.
And here's the hint. It starts with Indiana, and it ends in Jones.
Hold on us.
Yep.
Wait, do we have to watch the last one?
Oh, good question.
No one's allowed to watch that movie.
Okay,
I thought it made it
understood.
very clear in the movie theater when I watched it in
Yes.
2006.
This is hilarious. Preble was so
No,
angry.
Set forth here declared, so written, it shall not be stricken from the record.
Nothing like screaming out loud in the actual movie theater. No.
Treat it like Voldemort's name. You mean Indiana Jones and the Crystal? Nobody speaks its name.
How dare you speak this name?
How dare you talk about this film? It does not exist.
Well, that answers that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, deuces, fuckers.
Max, play the
We
music.
should
damn it.
actually. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Here you go.
I don't hear it.
Bow.
Oh, thank God. There it is.
I'm actually putting on the ending of the Star Wars music for this. So.
Oh, perfect.